Remember your word problems from a while back? For some of you, maybe not your favorite 3 or 4 weeks, but let's do the same thing now. But let's think about the fact that when we write our equations, they're not going to be systems, they're not going to be linear, they're going to be quadratic. So, um, tell me about that. How could I write that as a math thing?
21 equals
The is not the equals in this case, and I appreciate the sentiment because it normally is, but it's part of is subtracted from.
21 minus x squared.
When 21 is subtracted from the square of a number. So you're welcome to fill this in as we go. In fact, you should be. When 21 is subtracted from the square of a number, the result is 4 times the number. What's that going to be?
4x.
Awesome. Okay. And it's a good thing we've done quadratics because now you look at this and hopefully you know what to do. What would you do? Because you got to solve it, right?
Move four.
Move the 4x. Very good answer. So we're going to have x squared minus 4x minus 21 equals 0. So yeah, quadratics 101, right? You want to get all your stuff onto one side, and then you're going to factor this down. And what would the factors look like?
Um, um,
Definitely one positive and one negative because they multiply to make a negative 21. Good job on that. And what are the first numbers probably that come to mind when you think about making a 21? 3 and 7 for sure. And we definitely want to put the 3 here and the 7 here. You've done this so many, I don't know if I could say hundreds, but I mean like so many times now that you just know that that's the way the signs have to go because you want to make the -4. What would the solutions to this equation be?
x.
Correct. So at this point, I don't know if YTOP would do this to you or not, but I was just digging through some word problems and I found that sometimes people will just ask you, what's the positive solution? So in this case, I would say the positive solution is just the x equals 7, right? Got it. And this next one, number 2, is one that's been on my mind for quite a bit. So these will be the toughest ones, I think. So if you're kind of half sleeping, I would say rile yourselves up. Uh, let's draw a rectangle. And it says that the width of the rectangle is the length -3. So I'm going to make it look like it's longer in one direction than it is in the other, like this. Got it? May not be a perfect rectangle, but I think it'll work. And so these are going to be tricky. The thing about this is we need a variable, and my advice to you is to declare your one variable. And you don't have to do a formal declaration on the Y top or anything like that, but your variable should be the one that you're not talking about. So when you read that first sentence, who are we talking about? Are we talking specifically about the width or the length? It says the width is. Therefore, this sentence is all about the width. Therefore, we do not want to use the width as our variable. We would want to put like L on the length. So that's my advice to you is always declare the one that's not being discussed as the one you want to use. And you'll see why in a second here. Can you make me something for the width and don't say W? Mm-mm. It's in this sentence. What is the width?
The length of uh it's 3 units less than length.
I agree. So what would it be?
L minus 3.
You guys are amazing. Good job. And now we have to have a little geometry lesson here for this. So you know this, even though you haven't taken the class yet called geometry, you know this from like probably 6th grade or 7th grade. How do you find the area of a rectangle?
With times.
width times length or length times width in either order. So let me see, and I'm going to write something, and you're welcome to complain about it if you'd like. According to what I'm seeing here, the length of the rectangle times the width of the rectangle should equal the area, and the area, we're told, is 28. You see it? Don't worry, we're going to practice this one again. So
This is
go ahead.
not an answer.
Absolutely not. But it's the means to the answer. We're going to use a quadratic equation to help us find the width and the length of a rectangle. Let's do some basic math. Let's distribute. What's L times L?
Well,
L squared. That's where the quadratic comes into existence. That was a little rough. How about the second one? What's L times negative 3? Negative 3L. And how do we solve this quadratic?
28 on the other side.
Good job. You guys are amazing. Move that 28 to the other side, which gives us this quadratic right here. It's going to give us L squared minus 3L minus 28 equals 0. Using quadratics to our advantage. And then, of course, this factoring is pretty light work, I'm guessing, for you guys. It's going to be L and L. What are the signs going to be? One of each, always, because they multiply to make a negative. And what numbers are we thinking of?
7 and 4.
7 and 4. In which, who do you want to put where?
4 and 7.
4 here, 7 here. What are the solutions then to the equation?
Oh, equals 4. Oh, 7.
Could the length of a rectangle be negative 4 inches or negative 4 feet? Therefore, we would cross this answer off. We wouldn't even consider that, and we would say, oh, I did it. I figured out that the length of the rectangle is 7 units, 7 inches, 7 meters, whatever it may be. So if this is 7 units, what's the width?
4.
This has to be 4 units, right? So I think that's your real first example of how to use algebra, not just as something that you do, but rather to use it to actually solve a riddle. Bless you. Let's go again. So question 3 on your notes page, let's draw a rectangle. This time, who are we talking about in the first sentence?
One.
So don't use L for length this time, right? Use the variable that you're not talking about. If it's the length of blah, 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 then we want to use right away. We want to go on the width. The shorter side, by definition, by the way, is always called the width. It's not about sideways. It's about math people agree. Length is the longer, width is the shorter. Doesn't matter which way they face. What would I put up here? Amazing. And we know that because it says that the length is 5 more than the width. What's the area?
36.
So write me an equation.
W times W plus 5 equals 36.
Jackpot.
W squared
Plus
5
W.
equals 36.
Because remember, we're taking distribution here. We're going this times this times this. And then to solve it, to get ready to solve it, what would you do?
Take the 36 on the other side.
So we'd have W squared still plus 5W minus 36. And now we flex on the math gods and say, I can do this. I can factor. So the factors are going to be this and this. What are my signs going to be?
Negative.
One of each, because they multiply to make negative 36. It's okay. And the numbers are? And I want them as 9 on the plus and 4 on the minus, because I want to make sure that it comes out to plus in the middle. What answer would I get out of this green one?
That's you. Negative.
which is the one that I will disregard. If the width of a rectangle cannot be a negative number,
So the
right?
width is,
So the width is 4.
ooh, that means the length is 9.
It is. So if this was like 4 inches or 4 whatever, then this would be like 9 inches, right? How about number 4? Hanging in there. Okay, 5 more minutes. Give me 5 more minutes, okay? What does this word mean? Difference?
Uh, yeah,
Subtraction. And when it comes to the difference, you're going to put things in order. So it says the difference of the square of a number and 28 is equal to 3 times that number. And yet again, what we've got is we've got a quadratic equation sitting in front of us. And we know how to solve these. Who's moving in this case?
3x.
For sure. And when he moves over, remember that he comes and tucks himself right into that space right there. You always want to make sure you put things in the right order. So we have x squared minus 3x minus 28, and then you'd factor it down. What would the factors be?
Often.
One of each for sure. And the numbers? In that order. Good. So what are the solutions?
X equals -4 and x equals 7.
And it says just to find the negative. And again, who knows under what circumstances someone might just want the negative. I mean, the answers are both written in red, but if someone said, hey, just find me the negative, then you'd be like, I got you. It's that one right there, right? Okay, let's go flip that thing over. Let's go to number 5. Quickly write me an equation for number 5. I don't even want to help you with the equation. Someone just write it and then tell me what it is. Anybody got one yet? Three times a number is, what's that going to be?
3 times x.
3 times a number is.
Oh,
What is 28 less than going to be? Space minus 28. 28 less than the square of that number. What's that going to be?
wait,
Nice job. Who's moving?
3x.
So again, we'll just leave the x squared, bring over the minus 3x, the minus 28. And then the factors on this one, I didn't mean for this to happen, but I do believe they're about the same as the last problem, aren't they? This time it says find both solutions. So we would say, okay, x equals 7 and x equals -4. You see it? We're using quadratics to solve word problems. This time, let's draw a rectangle for number 6. Why am I making this one so long?
And it's 52.
No. Why am I making it so much longer than it is wide?
9 and left.
Because it says there's a big difference between the two, right? So who are we going to label this time, L or W?
Right.
Good job. So we're not talking about the length, so length is what we should label. So we're going to stick an L up on the length. What will go in place of the width?
L minus 9.
Nice job. And what's the area?
52.
So your equation is going to be width times length. Excuse me, I said that backwards, I think. Length times width equals 52. Now let's quick motor through this. What's it going to say after this?
Squared.
Mhm.
Minus
Minus 9L. And who's moving?
50.
So we have L squared minus 9L minus 52. And again, it's time to do what we pretty good at. Factor. L here, L here. What are the signs?
Positive.
For sure. And I'll help you a little bit with this one. Numbers that make 52 can be a little bit difficult for people to figure out. I'll tell you that 4 times 13 equals 52. And that's obviously going to help us here. So if we put plus 4 and minus 13, then what are our solutions?
L equals 4, L equals 13.
And which one would we omit?
13.
Omit, get rid of negative
Oh,
4, right?
negative.
So 13 is the length. So it might be like 13 feet, 13 units, 13 whatever. And then what would the width be? Yeah. Good job. To those of you that stayed awake and participated, you have my eternal gratitude. So we will continue on this road tomorrow. Please hold on to that paper, okay?
Don't create on